who knows how comfortable Manuel Ramirez was.
Point taken.
Um, so, all right. Now, let's move on to Yasiel Puig.
Oh, wow. Yep.
In the All-Star game. All-Star game, obviously, MLB All-Star game coming up this week.
Yep.
Home Run Derby is Monday night.
Yep.
Opposite Raw, so I will be watching. I'll be flipping back and forth. What are your thoughts on Yasiel Puig?
I honestly don't know his specific stats. I do know every time I would turn on SportsCenter, Yasiel Puig would keep coming up over and over again. As a casual observation, I'd say I'm happy that he's making an All-Star game. I mean, the splash that he made is not something that you hear commonly. You don't commonly hear of a guy blasting, home runs consecutively and consistently over a short period of time.
You're right.
I remember I saw a clip of him meeting with Robinson Cano, and you could see the way Robinson Cano greeted him. It was one of respect. Of, wow,
absolutely.
What you're doing is incredible. And if I'm a player, maybe I have a different opinion, but to me, I'm excited. I think even if I'm Bud Selig, I'm excited. This is just showing the growth of the game.
Absolutely.
Someone new.
And I have to agree with you on that. I definitely think Yasiel Puig should be in the All-Star game.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is the All-Star game is meant to, to showcase the players that have been having a great first half.
Right.
And it's of this season.
Right.
So, I mean, he came up, at the end of May, and, he's been playing great for this whole month.
Yes.
And, unfortunately, the fans get to vote for the starters.
Okay.
I don't feel that's right, but, I know why baseball's doing it.
Okay.
They want to increase their viewership. They want to increase their fan base because they've lost a lot.
Right.
Because, 162 games a year is a long season in this day and age where everything's got to be this
quick.
Quick. What are some of the, things that could, well, that's another debate for another time.
And that 162 games does not count spring training.
No, it doesn't count spring training. Doesn't count the playoffs.
Right.
They're literally going from February to November with only 2 months off.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You can't say they're not earning their contracts.
Right.
But, regardless, going forward, I feel he should be playing. Somebody who just came up like Zolo Almonte for the Yankees, he's been doing great, but he just came up a couple days ago, or maybe a week or so ago, a week and a half ago. No, I don't think he's done enough to prove himself. But somebody like Yasiel Puig, who's been on a tear, he's been bringing he's especially been impacting the Spanish-speaking community of LA.
Yep.
And he deserves to be there, even if it's just coming in the 6th inning, playing 3 innings or 2 innings at the outfield, whatever. I feel he needs to be there.
Right. And I guess everything's about perspective. If I'm a player and I don't make the All-Star team because he does, and he just made it, and I've been consistently, maybe not as good, but doing well, I would be upset. But
well, when you say consistently, are you talking about years ago? Like years past?
Right.
Like, should there be somebody who's big and who did great in 2011, 2012, but is slumping in 2013? Is it right that he makes the All-Star game instead of somebody who's been tearing it up in 2013?
No, it's not. But I think it's also about politics. So
everything's about politics.
That's always going to happen, So if you're Bud Selig, so you're saying right now, 2013, you would cancel all fan voting. You would eliminate that. You're the commissioner of baseball. You would decree no more fan voting, only players.
Yes, and I think the players need to vote for not only the All-Star game, but also for the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I don't, after this past year's debacle with the writers not voting anybody in,
right.
I think the players should vote based on who they thought was the hardest players to play against when they were playing.
Right.
And because you have people retiring every year.
Right.
I'm not saying a guy like Jim Leyritz is going to make the All-Star game or make the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But what I'm saying is somebody like Don Mattingly, who, they're, not necessarily now. I don't think there's anybody that was playing when Don Mattingly was playing. But he's respected.
He is.
And he's a great, he's a decent manager.
Right.
Unfortunately, the Dodgers themselves are not that great.
Right.
But the fact is the players need to be voting on their peers.
Right.
the fans are going to vote for their favorite teams, their favorite players.
Right.
You know, and you want to encourage the fans. I understand that, but at the same time, I'm not sure how legitimate that makes the game.
Yeah, and I think because I think it has to do with your what are your priorities?
Right.
If your priority is to make money, then you keep the fan voting.
Yeah.
If your priority is to have to keep it about the love of the game, then you make it like that. And the reason I say that is because, especially even with the advent of fantasy sports, I feel like that's changed everything. I'm a football fan, and you have fans that only care about fantasy. They don't care about.
They don't root
for
this
guy
team.
running the route right? Is the quarterback good? You better catch the ball and give me some points.
Right. And the other thing is and just building off of that is how many people are going to attend an NFL game when they can sit at home and watch all their players on 5 different TVs
exactly
and add up their scores before the tallies come in. So you're right. Fantasy, the advent of fantasy sports has changed the game dramatically.
Right. And players, they're not going to say, they're not going to be thinking about, did he score 30 points on my fantasy?
Right.
They're just thinking, is he running his routes right? Is he pitching correctly? Is he getting strikes? They're thinking about things that a fan probably would not. So if you put together a fan list and a player list, it would look so different. So it might alienate some fans. That's the risk. I think, why is Ryan Tannehill making he only threw 3 touchdowns,
Yeah.
So,
all right, we're going to move on to our Weird Law of the Week. I know it is 9 o'clock now, but you know what? We own the channel. We own the station.
That's right.
We can go over.
Yes.
So
it's a holiday.
Yeah, you're right. So we're going to move on to our Weird Law of the Week, our final segment for the night. This one comes to us from Kansas. We're going to actually show a picture now. If Greg could shoot up that picture. It's a picture of a person's hindquarters with taillights on them. And the reason why is this Weird Law of the Week comes to us from Kansas. And the weird law is pedestrians crossing the highways at night must wear taillights. So make sure to go out. If you're planning on crossing a highway at night in Kansas, make sure to go out and get one of those pairs of shorts.
That's hilarious.
That I believe are made by Peugeot.
Okay.
Which is a car company.
Okay.
So definitely go out and get those. I want to thank Melissa Schwartz for being our social media person.
Thank you, Melissa.
I want to thank Will Case and Greg Etsy being on technical for us.
And Bob for his tweet.
Yes, I want to thank Bob and Tasty Bacon for the tweets.
Yep.
I want to thank you, Irvin, for coming on tonight.
No problem. You're
It
welcome.
was a great night. And
thank you.
yeah, well, yes. For everybody here from the Sports Wire, we will see you next week on the Sports Wire.
On the Sports Wire.